Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my October book haul. So as always, let's start off with the library books that I picked up in the month of October. I actually picked up 10 books from the library this month, which is too many, but what are you going to do? The first book I picked up from the library this month is Bad Apples by Emily Rodda. This is the 23rd book in the Teen Power Inc. / Raven Hills Mysteries series that I've been rereading from my childhood. Yeah, because as I said, this is the 23rd book, so I now have this one on hand. The next book I picked up following on from that is Death Note Black Edition Volume 6. This is the final volume of Death Note, so I now have the whole rest of the complete series from the library so that I can read and complete the whole thing. The next book I picked up from the library is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This is a book by Frances Hodgson Burnett that has been a movie. This movie is one of my all-time favorite movies that I used to watch when I was a kid. I've never read the book, and I recently read The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, which is also a movie. I didn't super love that one, but I have to read this as well because, like I said, I absolutely adore the movie. The movie makes me absolutely sob my heart out every time I watch it, so I'm really excited to read the book and see how it compares to the movie. The next book I have is Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. This is the third and last book that's been published so far in the Cormoran Strike series, and I think I've actually heard that this one, the character Robin is being targeted by a serial killer, so that should be really interesting. This is actually quite a chunky book. This is almost 500 pages, I think, but I'm really looking forward to getting to this because I've really been enjoying this series. The next book I have is The War of the Work Demons by Emily Rodda. This is the 24th book in the Teen Power Inc. / Raven Hills Mystery series. This is the last one that I have out from the library so far. Book 25 I have attempted to request, but it appears that there's only one copy in all of South Australia, and there seems to be a problem with it. I'm not sure if it's been lost because I can't request it for some reason, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm just going to skip that 25th book and not read that one, because I've had a look online and I can't seem to find like an ebook copy of it or anything like that, so I'm not sure. I need to decide what I'm going to do, if I'm just going to skip over it and request 26 and the rest of the series, because I believe there are 30 books in total, so it's really sad that I can't read the whole series, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, this is the 24th book. Sorry, just apologies as well if my voice sounds weird. I know sometimes people say that on videos and you can't hear it, but I can hear it really badly in my voice right now. I've developed some kind of cough of some sort, I don't know, and I can just hear it in my throat, so apologies if my voice is annoying you. The next book I picked up from the library is My True Love Gave to Me. This is a collection of short stories edited by Stephanie Perkins. I picked this up because one of the challenges on the Around the Year in 52 Books challenge is to read a short story by a popular author. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for that. Originally I was going to read The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, but I also have Sharp Objects and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn that I haven't read yet, and I didn't want to read The Grown Up for some reason before I read her 2 full-length novels. So I decided to pick this anthology up and read this for that challenge, because obviously there are heaps of authors in this which are popular authors: Stephanie Perkins, Rainbow Rowell, Laini Taylor, Kirsten White, Gail Forman. Like, any one of those authors I could use for the challenge, so I plan to read this to fulfill that challenge. The next book I picked up from the library is The Golden Lily by Rochelle Mead. This is the second book in the Bloodline series, which is the spin-off series to Vampire Academy. I read the first book and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to continuing the series. Next we have Kingslayer by Virginia Boker, which is the sequel to The Witch Hunter, which I think you can actually see. Yeah, this is The Witch Hunter right here, which I own. I really enjoyed The Witch Hunter. It's a YA story that I haven't heard that much about. It follows a girl who is a witch hunter, but she is found with witches' herbs on her, which is illegal, and so she is arrested, and she's going to be put to death, I think, and then she makes a deal with like the world's most wanted wizard in order to secure her freedom, and it just kind of kicks off from there. It's a really good book. I really enjoyed it, and I also have read the novella which I can't remember the name of, but I really enjoyed that as well. And this is the sequel. I think this is going to be a trilogy, so this is the second book, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this. I will eventually probably buy a copy of this, but I decided to pick it up from the library in the first instance. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting to this one. And the final two books that I picked up from the library this month are actually books that I just picked up this afternoon. The first of those is Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. This is a book by Daphne du Maurier, obviously. I read Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier and I absolutely adored it. It's one of my favourite books that I've read this year. I gave it 5 stars, but last month, or sort of at the start of this month, I read a short story collection by her and I didn't super love it. But I believe I heard Lauren from Lauren and the Books talking about this, and she had really good things to say about it, and she'd never read any du Maurier. I'm not sure what this one is about, but I do want to read more of Daphne du Maurier's full-length works and see how I enjoy them. And the final book that I picked up from the library this month is This One Summer. This is a graphic novel that I believe just follows 2 best friends over a summer. I have heard mixed things about this, but I've been trying to control myself just generally browsing at the library because I, as you can see, get out too many library books. So when I do really have the urge to browse, I try to keep myself to the graphic novel section because I can generally obviously get through these really quickly. This has just got a blue kind of palette, but I really actually kind of like the look of the artwork. So I look forward to checking this out and seeing what I think of it. So now let's move on to the books that I purchased with my own money in the month of October. The first of those that I bought is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is a book that I read last month, I think it was, or the month before, and I really, really loved. I gave 5 stars, so I decided to buy my own copy of it. And then the 2 books that I bought this month, kind of sticking to my 2 books a month kind of book buying restriction, is Sweep Volume 4. This contains Seeker, Origins, and Eclipse. I have the first 3 volumes, so now I have the 4th as well, and there's only one more volume, the 5th volume, that I need to buy, and then I will have this whole series. I haven't read any of it, but it is a young adult series following witches, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it. And the other book that I picked up is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. This is a book that I've heard a lot about, and I've always been really interested in picking up. But then the 3rd book in the trilogy came out and people kind of had mixed things to say about it, and it kind of put me off a little bit. I did still want to read it, but I wasn't sure if I was going to purchase it. And then, I don't know, just recently I've been thinking about it and I really do want to read it, so I decided to buy a copy of it, and I'll probably obviously buy the whole trilogy, and if I don't like it, well, more fool me. So this is the point in the book haul where it should end, because that's all the books that I'm allowed to purchase on my book buying restriction, right? Well, yeah, here's the thing. Last weekend, I was feeling a little bored, and my brother was away, and so my brother's girlfriend was a little bored as well. And so I was messaging her, and just kind of on a whim, we decided to go around to some secondhand bookshops. So I have a pile here of 11 books that I picked up while secondhand book shopping. So I got them all really, really cheap, but it is just adding to my physical TBR, but what can you do? So let's jump in and I'll tell you about those books as well. The very first book I spotted at the first secondhand bookshop I was in is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. I have obviously, as you saw earlier, been reading the Cormoran Strike series. I've obviously read Harry Potter, so this is the only other book of hers, I believe, that's published that I haven't looked into, and I saw this there, and it is a hardcover edition, which is in really good condition, and this was $4, and as soon as I saw it, I knew that I had to buy this because I'm obviously going to read it, and I do want to purchase my own copies of the Cormoran Strike series, so when I saw this in really good condition for $4, I couldn't pass it up. Next, we have a book that I actually have already read, and that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a book that I read and gave 5 stars a few months ago, and I've been wanting to purchase my own copy of, but it's like $18 on Book Depository, and I've just kind of been putting it off because I don't want to spend that much money on a book. And this is the cover that I have been wanting, and when I saw this again at the secondhand bookshop, and again this was $4, and again I've been planning to purchase this anyway, and I have already read it, so this one's not adding to my TBR, but yeah, I couldn't pass this up because I say $4. The next book I picked up is Intensity by Dean Koontz. This is a book that I've actually been looking for when I go into secondhand bookshop. This is a book that I kind of keep my eye out, like I kind of look for, because I always expect to see it there because there's always a lot of Dean Koontz books in secondhand bookshops, but I never see this. And I've heard a lot of people say that this is Dean Koontz's best book. I have no idea what this is even about, but I've always wanted to read it. This is a mass market paperback, so it was only $2. And if I love this, I can always purchase like a better edition of it. But yeah, I was really excited to finally see this in a secondhand bookshop for only $2. The next book I picked up is The Ice Twins by S.K. Tremaine. This is a book that I was interested in because I think I actually mentioned in my recent Marked As to Read video that twins is a thing that I'm really interested in. I've seen this around, but I've heard kind of mixed things about it. But when I saw it, this one was $3. I decided to pick it up and give it a go because, like I said, I really find twins interesting. I believe this one follows, there's two twin girls who, there's an accident and one of them dies. And obviously everyone's really devastated. And then the surviving twin says that they've mistaken her for the other twin and that she is the other twin and that the other twin died, if that makes sense. Sorry, that's really confusing. And so everyone's really confused and they're not sure now which twin died, which twin survived. It just sounds really interesting. Like I say, I find twins really interesting, so I look forward to getting to this one as well. And the next book I picked up, and the last book I picked up in the first secondhand bookshop that I went to, is Heart-Shaped Bruise by Tanya Byrne. This one I picked up off the shelf because obviously something about it drew me in, and then I saw that it was actually blurbed here by Sophie Hannah. Sophie Hannah is a psychological thriller writer that I really enjoy, so that kind of intrigued me. And then I read the back, and I'll just kind of read for you what it says. It says, "They say I'm evil. The police, the newspapers, the girls from school who sigh on the 6 o'clock news and say they always knew there was something not quite right about me, and everyone believes it, including you. But you don't know. You don't know who I used to be, who I could have been. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever shake off my mistakes or if I'll carry them around with me forever like a bunch of red balloons." So that kind of intrigued me. It seems like maybe it might be kind of an unreliable narrator who we're trying to determine what kind of crime or something has gone on in her past. Sounds really interesting. I look forward to checking this one out at some point. Next we have 4 books that I picked up at the secondhand bookshop that we went to. The first of those is The Raising by Laura Kashishki. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. This one is set at a college, and a beautiful kind of prom queen type girl is, sorry, prom queen? I always say prom for some reason. Anyway, prom queen type girl has been killed the previous year in a horrific car accident, and in which her boyfriend was driving the car, and the whole school is kind of struck by this tragedy, and then the school kind of starts to become haunted or something following this crash. I think there's someone who doesn't believe the details about the crash. I'm not too sure, but it sounded really interesting. And yeah, I look forward to reading it. This one was $4.25, so it piqued my interest enough. The next one I picked up is one I've heard a lot about, and that is Still Alice by Lisa Genova. This, as you can tell, as I'm sure you already know, has been turned into a movie starring Julianne Moore. I absolutely adore Julianne Moore. I love her as an actress. I really wanted to see this movie, but I do like to read the book first where I can, so when I saw this for $3.25, I decided to pick it up so that hopefully I can read this and then I can watch the movie. The next one I picked up is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. This is another book that I've heard a lot about, but again, heard really mixed things about. All I know about this is that it follows a girl who I think dies, but then she keeps reliving her last day, kind of like a Groundhog Day, and I think obviously trying to change the outcome maybe so that she doesn't die. The premise sounds really interesting. I've heard mixed things about it, but I saw it there. It's in pretty good condition, and it was only $4.25, so yeah, I couldn't pass it up. The next book that I picked up is again another one that I have already read, and that is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Vine. I was really, really excited to see this there for only $4.25 because this is a book, again, that I've read and loved, and I was planning to purchase anyway, my own copy. And I was kind of torn between several different covers that I was going to purchase when I got this, but when I saw this in store for only $4, like, this cover was one that I don't mind this cover, so I was totally happy to get this. So yeah, I'm really excited to have a physical copy of this book because I absolutely adored it. So then in the final secondhand bookshop that we went to, I picked up 2 books. The first of those is Me and Mr. Darcy by Alexandra Potter. This is just a kind of chick lit story that follows a girl who has suffered a recent breakup, and she's kind of lamenting that why can't men be more like Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. And then she decides to go on like a Jane Austen tour of England, like around the, you know, areas where Jane Austen's books are set or something like that, and she meets the real Mr. Darcy or something. It says something like that on the back, so that really intrigued me. I love Pride and Prejudice. This just sounds like it'll be a lot of fun, light-hearted kind of read, so I look forward to reading this one. And the final book that I picked up on that secondhand bookshop spree is The Cutting Season by Attica Locke. This is just kind of a mystery story set on a Louisiana plantation that follows a woman who, I think she's like the groundskeeper, like she's managing the house basically, and she sees some ground that's recently been like disturbed, and she asks the gardener to, you know, fix it up or whatever, assumes that some animals have been digging there, and then the gardener calls her over and they find the deceased body of a woman who's had her throat cut, and it just kind of all kicks off from there from what I gather. This obviously doesn't sound like anything too necessarily groundbreaking, but I do really love the setting of a Louisiana plantation. That just really is like kind of a buzz thing for me. I think that setting's going to be really cool, and I really like the front cover with kind of the plantation house and the big tree, and I hope it might have some like gothic vibes to it maybe, so I probably won't get to this anytime soon, but I look forward to having it on my shelf. So those are all the books that I picked up in the month of October. So a few more books than what I would like to add to my shelf this month, but I have been sticking to my book buying restriction for the past few months really, really well. So I'm still pretty happy with myself, and as I say, all of these books were really cheap, and you know, it's nice to splurge every now and again. I will be back on my kind of book buying restriction until Christmas, when I don't think I'll buy too many things for Christmas, but there are a few kind of more expensive books that I've been wanting to buy that I'll probably allow myself to buy as a gift to myself for Christmas, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I will be strictly back on the 2 books a month, plus any kind of physical books that I've already read until Christmas. But yeah, I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, if you have any thoughts, or any books that you picked up in the month of October that you're really excited about. If you guys are on a book buying restriction, how are you going with sticking to it? I'd love to chat in the comments down below. As I said, please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That's all I've got for this video today. Bye guys!